boy, this one's a sad one. Today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the arch enemy RX-78-2 Gundam. This figure, you could consider it just a giant size MSIA with a few extra flares and whatnot on it. This was from the Arch Enemy series. Now I believe these figures were around the 7 to 8 inch mark. I can't really remember. This guy honestly seems a little bit bigger, but in any case, yeah, 7 to 8, that doesn't even sound right. I don't know. These guys were giant size MSIAs and they were awesome. They were so awesome that they made the RX-78, they made Char's Gelgoog, they made the Tall Geese 3, they made Wing Zero Custom, and then kind of technically not really an arch enemy figure, they made the Ale Strike. So today we're going to be taking a look, we're going to be showing off its special features, and we're going to be saying goodbye because again, this is another one of those MSIA collectibles that I had and I'm now saying goodbye to. Looking at accessories first, we're taking a look at all the different interchangeable hands. Now you already saw the figure having his closed fist hand, so that makes the first pair. We have the second pair being the beam rifle or melee holding hands, so they're going to be a little bit opened. We then have some posing open hands, or he could be holding something depending on what you have available. And then last but not least, we have some trigger finger hands for that almighty beam rifle or hyper bazooka, whichever. We now move on to the Gundam's weaponry, and starting things off we have the nice beam javelin, which you also get to detach the beam effect parts, ball point here, and the beam saber hilt can also detach as well, so put that away for storage if you're not using it or whatever. You also of course get two beam sabers with detachable beam saber effect parts. Now these are pretty snug. I'd be very careful putting them in. Whoever purchased this figure from me, keep that in mind. I hope you see this video. These hilts fit onto the Gundam's back pretty easily. I'll show the figure with those on a little bit later. We also get the old ball and chain, and I gotta admit, this chain seems really strong. I like it a lot. Nothing's really special or different here. If you gotten the version 2.0 Gundam, or version 2, however the hell you want to say it, you've gotten this this weapon, and yeah, it's no big difference. Probably got like a kink in it or something. I don't know. Kind of looked like there was a kink. Moving on, of course, we get the iconic Hyper Bazooka with the movable hilt, or not a hilt, but a movable handle here. Yeah, and then this back piece, of course, moves. So again, nothing really special or different there. It would have been cool if they had some effect parts to fit on the end there. Last but not least, in terms of weapons, you have the classic beam rifle with the movable scope. Goes to the left, goes to the right, can sit in the middle, and then you get this stabilizing whatever extra handle here that moves. So you can have the Gundam look like he's aiming, trying to stabilize him moving or whatnot. Of course, it's a giant machine, so it shouldn't be moving if it doesn't want to. But yes, you get all these pieces and more. And the more being a shield. Now this shield is pretty basic. You can attach it to the forearm of the Gundam. You can have the Gundam hold it with the handle. You can place it on the Gundam's back. But you don't just get one shield, you get two. Now, don't know why exactly had to take two different ones to do this, but they decided on the second one that you could attach the beam rifle, just kind of store it in there. Oh, this is embarrassing. Did I do it wrong? No. Am I doing it right? I don't know. In any case, you can store the beam rifle inside the shield and have it hold fairly well. Doesn't want to come out. So yeah, you would just attach this to the Gundam in whatever form or fashion you want, and now you got the beam rifle just tucked away. To which we move on to the Gundam and its poseability and whatnot. So here now I have the beam sabers attached, and they went on pretty easily and they're pretty snug. They don't want to come off too easily. So yeah, that's a good thing. Looking at this guy, he just kind of looks a little stumpy in the arm section. They look a little too fat. They look like they should have came down just a smidge more. Taking a look at the back, pretty basic. It looks like maybe a little bit towards the anime version side, because there's not too much detail in the armor, there's not too much detail in the backpack and whatnot. Where there is detail though is there's kind of like this well, what would you call it? There's kind of like this this worn kind of paint wash over it, so it's not completely white. It looks a little bit dirty, like it's seen combat and whatnot. I'm not saying battle damage, I'm just saying it looks like it's, you know, been in use. Yeah, so you'll have like kind of this this light blackish wash a little bit over the, you can kind of really see it well over the shoulder armor pieces and whatnot. But yeah, you got that going. So detail in that respect, but not in the actual armor sculpt or anything like that. Not too bad, but not too good. Now we're going to move on to articulation. Articulation with this guy is pretty simple, not too fancy. You can rotate full 360 at the arm. You can have it move up about that high up. You do get a bicep swivel or a bicep rotation and a little bit of a double bend in the elbow, like so. You do get a full range of motion in the hand because it is attached kind of sort of by a ball joint. Moving on to the head, which we should have started with first, you can full 360 rotation. The head, no problem there. You can lean it back a little bit and then lean it forward as well. At the hips, no real movement whatsoever, and I'll let you know why a little bit later. Let's kick those arms up a little bit so we can get out of the way. Alright. The torso can move forward a little bit without really moving the legs too much. And it can move a little bit back. Do the thrusters move? Nope, thrusters do not move. Skirt armor does not want to move as well. Well, the front skirt armor does a little bit, but hardly at all. So if you're going to try and go for a kick, it's not really going to happen. See, that's how much of a kick you get. You get no double bend. Oh, wait. Yes, you do. You get a double bend in the knee, shown there. You get some nice ankle pivot, ankle rotation, whatnot. And then the ankle armor is on there pretty snug, looks pretty secure. There's no toe articulation, but we can't have everything in the world. And that's pretty much it for this guy. Now, one other bit of articulation is going to be underneath the skirt armor and towards the hip joint of the leg. You can rotate at the upper portion of the leg and you can bend outward a little bit, but honestly these don't help because the skirt armor is in the way. Now you can pull the legs up a little bit and then you can make it look like they're a little bit longer or even kicking out, but honestly there's no even any use for it. It doesn't help at all. Probably the coolest thing that comes with this RX-78 is the special gimmick that is associated with the Gundam in general. So we all know that inside the Gundam is the core fighter that sits inside, and you can detach the top half and the bottom half. And it's going to sound like you break it, but you're not. Don't worry about it. And, well, I guess if you wanted to count the chest piece as articulation, you can too, so that can move up a little bit. But inside you get that core block, which turns into, let me see, can I do it without, oh, there we go, turns into dun dun dun, and it's taking forever, the core fighter. Oop, extend that outward. Oh, I broke it. Alright, I fixed it. Wasn't too hard, it just popped off. I guess I can't remember if this thing was in the package in pieces and then you assemble it or not. I can't remember, but yeah, so that's pretty cool that they gave you a core fighter to place inside the Gundam. It does kill some of the articulation, especially in rotating the hip and stuff, but yeah, I think it's a pretty cool trade-off. This mobile suit is known for having the core fighter inside of it, so it's really cool that they associated the core fighter with this figure. And yeah, you can't do this with the version 2 MSIA, so that's pretty awesome. And when you're done, you just go ahead and fold that core fighter back up, slip it back inside the Gundam, and then just place it right back on top of the legs. And you'll hear a snap. Now the crotch piece can actually move up and forward. There's supposed to be, I guess, some sort of locking mechanism, but I've never noticed any real change or difference with it being down or up. It is comparison time, and here we have the arch enemy RX-78-2 and the version 2 MSIA version. Said version twice, excuse me. So here you can just see how much bigger this figure is over this figure. Yeah, considerably bigger. I'd say it's a whole nother figure taller. Man. But I do prefer this figure a lot more, simply because there's a lot more sculpting that went into this figure, whereas this one is just kind of a flat, plain look, a general look for the RX-78. This one has some nice, well, you can just see in the chest area, there's just more sculpting going on than the other one. Yeah. Now this is just a spare one, so I apologize if you get all, you know, whatever, there's missing parts and whatnot. This is just a spare that I had to use as reference. So, yeah. Let's go to final thoughts. So I'm a little bit torn in the middle with this figure. While I don't completely hate it, I don't completely like it either. It's just, it's a so-so. This figure, really, it was just kind of like a feather in the cap type of thing when I had it in my collection. It is still very cool that it came with a bunch of accessories. Excuse me, but the fact that it doesn't have that well of articulation, it kind of seems like the figure is just waiting to flop over because of that that core fighter being in the middle and not having a really good secure attachment for the torso and the legs. It's kind of a miss. But I'm a completionist, and this figure going along with Char's Red Gelgoog is a must-have. You got to have both in order to really display them together. You can't display one without the other. Upside of this figure is, of course, all those accessories. The downside is just it just doesn't look that great. Now, while you can still find this guy on eBay and even still in the box, you gotta watch out for certain things. Number one, if you guys are buying this figure in the box, there's two different versions the way it was packaged. Now, I believe there was a red version for sure, and there might have been a bluish kind of turquoise. Is that the word? Is that the color? Like an aqua green kind of color. It was, yeah, they were kind of doing that for all the figures in general. I especially saw it for the Tall Geese and the Wing Zero. So, and I know I've seen it for this figure. I can't remember if I saw it for the Gelgoog. But also on top of that, back in the day, this figure was going for $25, $30 tops at the store. Now people are kind of asking $50, $60, which is right around a reasonable price. So if you want to get this figure, definitely make sure you're getting it for right around that price. You don't want to pay over and then once you get it, be really disappointed because it's just not worth it. What else? That's pretty much it. Now, if you guys are getting this figure loose, remember to look for all the accessories that I showed you in this video to make sure you're getting what you're paying for. Things I will note to look out for that will come loose from this figure. The ankle armor seems to come off every now and then, so you will have that missing. Sometimes I've seen the leg armor detach from the figure itself. I don't know how that happens, but it's something I've seen. Wow, something I just noticed too is you can store the bazooka on the back of the Gundam. Man, why did I miss that? I apologize, guys. My bad. But yeah, so you can just see how well it was made. It just wasn't sculpted perfectly, but it's still a cool figure. And if you are a fan of the original Gundam, you should definitely get it. So let's all say goodbye to the arch enemy version RX-78-2, and let me know what you guys think of this figure. Let me know if you hate it, like it, comment in any way, doesn't matter, share, and please subscribe and do all that good stuff. Alright guys.